Watching the Power Breakfast show. Now this morning we're paying tribute to our KDF soldiers. Quick reminder, our hashtag is KDF our heroes. Any special messages you have for them, messages of goodwill, of condolences or sympathy, please get in touch. The hashtag, like I said, is KDF our heroes. And Charles Odiambo and Muteginja will be having that discussion. We'll be looking at different events that have taken place over the last 3-4 days, and they'll be trying to analyze them. So I quickly hand you over to them. And just another reminder, 22422 is the SMS line. If you're not on Twitter, you can get us on that SMS line. Charles and Mutegi, take it away.
Thank you. Mr. Mutegi, as this story unfolds, it reminds me of 16th January, by sheer coincidence, 1994. You remember when the American Marines went to retaliate an attack on the UN peacekeeping forces in Somali. One of them, apparently after one of their choppers was brought down, was tied with a rope by the people in Mogadishu town, and they dragged the body along the streets. And the American government was very categorical that we're not going to reveal the identity of the soldier, the gallant soldier whose body was being dragged on the streets, because it's not good for the family, it's not good for the nation, and it's not good for our sovereignty.
And during that saga, Kenyan journalists were killed that time. Horst Maina, Elder son, Michael, the son, and
Michael Eldon,
and Horst Maina, the photographer. It was very sad. What happened last Friday is similar to that, where our soldiers were ambushed. And this, it looks like they knew they were new. They didn't know the...
By sheer coincidence, it's almost the same date. That was January 16th, 1994. This is January 15th, 2015.
Yeah, it's very sad. We probably want to see what the Committee Secretary for Defense and to say about this. We will show a clip about that.
Last evening when they were receiving bodies of our fallen heroes.
We again wish to re-emphasize our great appreciation to the people of Kenya that are supporting us with their love and compassion throughout this difficult time for the Kenya Defense Forces and our families. As I have indicated to you previously, search, rescue and recovery operations are ongoing, and consequently we expect to receive more of our soldiers in the coming days, and we will keep you abreast of these developments as the operations continue. We continue to urge for patience in this matter.
Rachel Omamo the impact is very motherly, and the way she's talking, she's very empathetic.
Probably we couldn't have had a better person than her.
It's like, at this particular time. People are wondering, how do we have now a lady cabinet secretary for defense? But I think she's fitting in very well. That she is, in fact, when you see the pictures, even hugging them, the oncoming. If it was a man,
he would have tried to be manly.
Yes.
Critical words coming out of her statement. Information will keep flowing.
Yes.
You remember earlier on we were a bit critical about the information flow. It really should be flowing to the families.
It should be flowing, but you know, it's a very delicate situation, like you're saying. How some of them you cannot tell who they are. They may not even, you remember they were dragged, and there was bombing, and the bodies may be mutilated. So I think the only thing you can tell the relatives is that they be patient. I don't think the government is hiding anything. There will be no reason to hide, them.
Of course, you and I know the government is hiding so much for the good of the nation and our sovereignty. Because again, if we go out there and tell people, these insurgents have killed this number of soldiers,
the government will not hide the fact to the relatives.
Precisely.
The government might want to hide the number to the public, to the world. But it's not cowardice. If people died, they died.
And actually, soldiers are supposed
and
to.
they're supposed to be. But I'm very happy that none of our newspapers or the press or the TV have given
carried any
of those bodies.
Quite responsible.
Very responsible.
It reminds me of what the MCA Media Council of Kenya, one of the executives, was saying about self-regulation for the media, and I think it came out very clearly the last 3 or so days.
Kaisarian said, you don't publish those pictures in the social media, you don't publish them in the TV, and I think it is this. You do not want to glorify terrorism by publishing those kind of pictures. And
if there is anybody who needs to be rained on now, I think it's the social media. This freedom is becoming a bit irresponsible.
You know, social media, there's no editor there. But somebody goes to the Facebook and write whatever you want to write.
Your name.
And some people are very patriotic in their writings, but some others just criticize. Some people think, oh no, the president is in Mombasa. Oh, you know, wherever the president is in Kenya, he doesn't have to be in Nairobi to do this. In that case, the ministers are there. But I do support maybe what the deputy president, the former prime minister is saying. Why don't we declare some days of mourning?
Period of mourning. Regardless of where His Excellency the President is, Mr. Mutegi, he should be the embodiment of the mourning in our country. Look at Rachel Mamu a short while ago. I mean, the footage clearly captures a somber mood. What do you think when you see the president laughing in a public baraza at the coast?
Well, he's addressing matters. He's addressing the matter of the death of the attack. You cannot say he has ignored it.
Or he should be crying.
But if he ignored completely talking about it then, I don't think if he came to Wilson Airport, that will make much difference. I think he has a duty to do whatever he is. But some people think that he should cancel whatever he is doing, or whatever he is doing in Mombasa, and come and mourn with us.
But there should be order, you know. I mean, before he cancels, like Chief of Staff says, they need to ensure they have all the details, all the records, so that even if he cancels whatever he's doing, there's some order in it. Earlier on, I think the Chief of Staff,
the Chief of Defense Forces,
General
Masade, and paid some tribute and some.
He had paid tribute to the soldiers. Maybe we look at the footage.
The footage,
Soldiers, men and women of the Kenya Defense Forces, as we stand for our core values and maintain our vision and mission, I commend you for the fighting spirit and professionalism that you have displayed. Let us keep the momentum. As to our families who have taken every step with us, I thank you. I assure you that the KDF fraternity will stand with you till the end. Special gratitude goes to our friends, our partners, and all Kenyans and the media for standing with the KDF. I salute you. Finally, I reiterate the Commander-in-Chief's assurance that the blood of our fallen heroes was not shed in vain. We will fight them deep in their hideouts, we will smoke them out of their caves, and we will follow them to the end in honor of every drop of blood of our fellow Kenyans.
Well, very well put.
Very good.
We will follow them wherever they are, we'll rout them. And we should do it. Kenyans should know that soldiers go to the war to fight and be killed. We should understand that.
To kill and be killed.
To kill and be killed. So when we lose them, it's not a matter of celebration, but they are paid with their lives for our security. In fact, some people are saying, oh, no, we should remove.
Anybody who thinks about removing Kenyan soldiers in Somalia now must be living in another world.
Yeah, because it won't make it any better.
It will make the situation worse, probably.
We will be seen as cowards if we do that.
Until we rat into our cocoons and making it easier for terrorists.
For them to come now. In fact, the reason why we went to Somalia is because the Al-Shabaab used to come here. Remember, they kidnapped the tourists.
And they shook our tourism sector.
Exactly. So when you go there, even if our soldiers are killed, or like it happened on Friday, the thing to do is not to run away from them, to pursue them like the general is saying, that we pursue them to wherever they are until we make Somalia stable. We as AMISOM, we as the world, because that's the only way to
be sure that Kenya will be. That's the
only way.
That is the price you pay for having an errant neighbor.
Exactly.
You know, you can choose your friends, but you can't choose your neighbor.
In fact, I'm delighted the way Kenyans are reacting to this. I remember I went to some place where they were kind of got on Saturday, and before they started the activities, they stood up and they sang the national anthem, and they stood for a minute in memory of these people, so that percolates throughout Kenya, that Kenyans are taking part in and sympathizing and empathizing and being in solidarity with the relatives and the friends of the
I think this is the time Mr. Mutegi would challenge the civil societies in Kenya, the ones that normally try to route Kenyans together. This is the time they should come up and probably organize at 1 o'clock, 1 a.m., have everybody wherever you are in Kenya sing the national anthem in solidarity, as a way of just showing that we will not be shaken, we will take this battle to these insurgents, and Kenya will enjoy its peace and tranquility at some point.
I heard somebody suggesting that as if now the soldiers have been killed there, they're probably, when there is another intake of the military intake, you will have shortage of candidates. I don't think so.
I doubt.
I don't think so.
How come we never have shortage of people who want to be drivers?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Anyway, while he's in the coast, the president also had something to say about the killings. And I think
actually what I liked most about the president's comment in the clip we are about to see is when he talked about our soldiers are fighting side by side regardless of whether you are Luo, you are Meru.
Actually they don't see even if you are Karasinga, they don't see you as a Karasinga.
They see you as a
comrade.
And it reminds
me, and that's the way we Kenyans should live. That you are Luo. You don't see me as a Meru. We are here as professionals.
How does that put food on my table?
Like the family, you know, like raw media. Almost every tribe is here, and when you meet
when
you meet at the lunchtime there, or when you go to the parking, you don't see this is one. So this is no. When we are colleagues working for our media.
When I saw
that's when the Kenyans should
embrace. When like this analogy, Mr. Mutegi, it reminded me about my history. That when Kenya was fighting for independence, after we got independence, we had 3 main enemies. Poverty, disease, and ignorance. So all Kenyans are soldiers. Why can't we fight alongside each other and tackle these crises?
But the politicians, you know, because of politics, because of elections, they always want to remind you, Ntuwetu, our man, which I think.
I'm sorry, but I don't buy that argument. Politicians are not from Mars or Utopia. They are from amongst us. Tomorrow I become a politician, I start giving such statements.
Anyway, let's see what the president had to say about this while he was in the coast.
At the coast,
na ndipo tuwasema wakati wanajeshi wetu wanapigana kule, na muona wamepigana kwa sababu yetu sisi kutulinda kama Wakenya, kulinda mipaka yetu ya nchi yetu. Wakati wanapigana huko hawajiulizi kabila lako, wasema sisi ni wanajeshi wa Jamhuri ya na tuwalinda sisi Wakenya pia ambao tuko ndani. Njia ya kuwaheshimu ni sisi pia tuungane, tusimame kama Wakenya na tufanye maendeleo yetu kwa niaba ya Wakenya, tusipojali dini, tusipojali kabila, tusipojali rangi, tumsimamo ni moja. Sisi ni Wakenya, na Wakenya wakifaulu, sisi zote tumefaulu.
There you are. Wanajeshi wetu watakapofaulu, sisi kama Wakenya tutakuwa tumefaulu.
The same way we're going to apply the same when we develop the economy, when you work hard and do whatever you are doing in your profession, the country develops. And we should emulate what the soldiers do. Work as a team, do whatever you're supposed to do professionally, and avoid corruption and avoid shortcuts. That survey which was done the survey which was done by the Aga Khan University, showing the young people saying the youth want to be rich by hook or crook. That is what we should never think about. Our leadership should lead the way in doing things in the straight manner.
You know, it's very sad, Mr. Mutegi, that this research, the report shows that 30% of the respondents said they believe being corrupt is profitable.
That is because people who steal, when they are never punished and the money, it is not expensive. They should not make corruption very expensive. So that when you steal,
you pay a high price.
You know, like the Osman, the company that bribed Kenyan to do the examinations.
Smith and Osman.
Smith and Osman. It's a very good example because the company will be made poor, and the perpetrators have been jailed and fined individually.
But isn't it quite ironical that they bribed somebody in Kenya,
and now that somebody
in Kenya is living lavishly, probably being glorified? I mean, that goes a long way to explain why the youth think like they think.
Okay, now we welcome Kirigut. Maybe we have some tributes or some...
Mr. Njao,
yes.
Charles, thank you very much for that. And as you can see right there on the bottom of our screen, we have messages scrolling down, and we'll be taking them full board. But I'll read some of them from Twitter, and then at Tony Gashoka, rest in peace. People will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Hashtag KDF heroes. Let me try and see whether we can get them. At Adam Minor, we sleep safely at night because tough men stand ready to visit violence on those who would harm us. Rest in peace. Hashtag KDF heroes. And then there's at Michelle Waikenda, my prayers to the families of the bereaved soldiers and to all Kenyans at this low moment. May this moment unite us all. And as a country vows not to relent on the fight against terror, for us as a people who benefit from the sacrifices of the Kenya Defense Forces, it is to honor the ultimate price they pay. This as such, rescue operations continue with more bodies of the fallen heroes expected to arrive today. Here now is a tribute to our fallen heroes.
Fahari yetu, undugu ndio nguvu, chuki na ukabila hatutaki hata kamwe. Lazima tuungane, tuijenge nchi yetu, pasiwe hata mmoja anayetenganisha. Naishi natumaini, najitolea daima Kenya. Hakika ya bendera ni uthabiti wangu, nyeusi ya wananchi na nyekundu ni ya damu, kijani ni ya ardhi, nyeupe ya amani. Daima mimi Mkenya, mwananchi mzalendo. Kwa uchungu na mateso, kwa vilio na huzuni, tulinyakuliwa uhuru na mashujaa wa zamani. Hawakushtushwa na risasi au kufungwa gerezani, nia yao ukombozi, kuvunja pingu za ukoloni. Naishi natumaini, najitolea daima Kenya. Hakika ya bendera ni uthabiti wangu, nyeusi ya wananchi na nyekundu ni ya damu, kijani ni ya ardhi, nyeupe ya daima mimi Mkenya, mwananchi mzalendo.
And may our fallen soldiers rest in peace, and those who are injured in the attack, may they get well soon. All right. Wish them a quick recovery. Remember, you can continue the conversation online. The hashtag is KDF Our Heroes. I will now want to hand you over to Charles Odhiambo and Mutei Njau just to have a look at stories making headlines in the world of print media. Gentlemen?
I think the Standard caught the mood very well with a two-word headline, the homecoming, and the picture there in the Standard of the coffin of one of them, and the video of just seen the marching. I think they got it. They got it right.
Homecoming is synonymous with celebration.
Yeah.
We are celebrating
the soldiers.
Yeah.
That
Somebody just asking me, so shouldn't the president laugh because our soldiers have been killed? And I say yes, not in public. After all, he's the CNC.
Yes, he should not be seen as if he's not empathetic.
Yeah.
But he is. When he speaks, you can see the seriousness under which when he's speaking. I don't think he's trivializing the matter. I think it's a serious thing, and he's
giving
concerned.
It
Oh yes. The only that people would think that some people think he should have cancelled whatever he's doing in coast and come to do.
Maybe not necessarily.
Yeah. So that headline, the Standard, and the story continues. The Standard has given page 6 and 7
and 8. Yeah.
Full coverage with pictures, those very patriotic pictures.
And I like what you said earlier about the motherly.
The motherly. You see the picture in the Standard. She is holding this
soldier.
That soldier, comforting. You know, when you're comforted by the minister this way. If it was a man, I don't know that the feeling would be the same.
It do not be the same.
It catches the mood. That you know, some of them come. In fact, we saw some of them
breaking down. Yeah.
Breaking down.
It's traumatic.
It's very traumatic.
It's painful.
Yeah.
You know, somebody you were with just a few hours earlier.
And there was that one who I saw it in the social media. He explained how he went to a hole. He was led by a snake. He went into a hole, and the snake got out, and he came out also, and he was able to run away and get
God's way. And there's a particular one who gave a story about how he called his family back home, and they said, we have been attacked, but I cannot come back because I have with a colleague who has been injured.
Yeah.
The true spirit of a soldier.
Yeah, that's very nice. So these are solemn moments which were shown there. And then the president says Al-Shabaab will not have time to breathe, vows the president, which is good. And that shows that he is also concerned about.
Of course, he has ruled out the withdrawal of troops from Somali.
Yeah.
Saying they're looking for a broader coalition with the neighboring countries against the Islamic groups. Yeah.
I've seen a story saying that the Voice of America is claiming that AMISOM, they knew the attack 3 days before. If they knew, if Voice of America is saying that, then why did the AMISOM, who are colleagues of the Kenyan soldiers, because Kenya is part of AMISOM, why did they not want them? I don't know whether that's true, but
so many stories are being told. Even as we look at the Standard, something interesting on page 5 of The Nation. The raid was the third on AU troops.
Yes.
The chronology of events or the details are I think of very of a lot of value to the military intelligence. I guess they have this by now. That in the previous attacks, when they attacked the Burundi troops, the soldiers had just landed and
they exploited the incoming troops' lack of knowledge of the geography there, having hardly settled in Somalia. The Kenyan troops attacked by that place are seen to have been posted there just a few days earlier, so they didn't know the place, and probably they were tired, having driven all the way from Eldoret to that place.
So one thing is clear: these insurgents have detailed information about how the troops are operating and all the rest. Quite sad indeed. What again is shocking is there is a gentleman, 21-year-old soldier. He He has not talked to his family since Friday.
Yeah, the family, the Samson Sirikwa and his wife Rachel, they are looking for their son Wesley Sirikwa, who is 21.
21 years old.
They have put a picture of him. He's probably one of the dead. And the parents in that just here need to be told by the military what happened to him. Just like many others.
Is this what is called battle hardening a soldier or what? For a 21-year-old?
Well,
at almost 50, I would be shivering in my boots. I wonder what would go through the mind of a 21-year-old.
Yeah.
Quite sad indeed. The good thing is the nation is in solidarity.
Yeah, that's the thing. KDF has hit Al-Shabaab and all over the land,
land
strikes. But we are not told where and how. What have they done? How many have they killed? You know that's important for them.
Now this is where the Kenyan military could win the media war.
Yeah.
Give us footage of their attack.
Exactly. Where
and everybody will feel satisfied.
Exactly. The reaction, the retaliation, although it's sensitive and touchy, we need to know where they have hit, whom they have killed, what towns.
That would go a long way in consoling Kenyans also, you know.
So that you can know we hit them also. Remember when they killed when the Americans killed Saddam, or
even Osama,
or even Osama.
And even Osama, yeah.
Yes.
I think it's a military communication tact.
Yeah.
You display the enemy all over.
Yeah. It's important that way.
And that Al-Shabaab have not even come out and said we have these soldiers and here they are. Makes me think that maybe they don't even have any soldiers with them. Maybe they're just talking.
They are gorillas. They are gorillas. They are gorillas. You know, it's not a military. It's not a military that has.
It's not a formal military outfit.
Yeah. Away from that attack, an interesting story about what is going to happen today.
Okay.
Wetangula has been a senator for Bungoma for some time. Almost now it's over. The period of this parliament, we are going to have elections next
year.
But we might have, if Wetangula loses his political, if he is scrapped from the register, does that mean we are going to have elections?
That's one thing that has not come out very clearly. One thing that I know outrightly is that if he's scrapped, it means he cannot contest in the next elections. The more reason why I think the court brigade are quite aggressive about this.
They have made it political, not
and they have mobilized support to show solidarity with Wetangula as he appears before the committee today.
Let's look at the story on page 9. The nominated member of parliament, Isaac Maura, is raising a very pertinent question. Yesterday, the sanctions against Iran were removed,
were lifted,
so that Iran is now going to sell oil to the world. In fact, they are saying Iran is going to be pumping 500,000 barrels a day to the global market. So we expect petrol prices to go on. But why is it in Kenya that we are buying petrol at 88, 90 shillings, where it should be, according to Maura, it should be 55?
Somebody says, actually the Standard, talking about the same story, they are giving it a detailed approach. They are saying Kenyans would not get fuel at 50 shillings even if the oil price dipped to $0 per barrel because of taxes.
Yeah. Taxation. We don't mind paying taxes, but this may slow the economy.
They're saying taxes, profit margins, etc. account for more than half the amount motorists pay for petrol. Profit margins for the 72 companies that are licensed to import oil products into the country.
And when petrol prices go down, and the Energy Regulation Commission says you lower the prices, companies don't automatically lower.
They don't automatically, but when they say it goes up,
it goes up the same day.
Actually, when they suspect it will go up, they even hoard fuel.
Yeah. Anyway, let's look at the back page of the Nation, which has another interesting story. The Chief Justice yesterday was swearing in the new Ethics and Anti-Corruption commissioners, and there a picture of them there, all of them.
Together with the Attorney General?
Together with the Attorney General. The question is the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission going to have now some strength, some teeth, some credibility? Will they?
If the law is on their side, What really makes them not have teeth to bite? Unless there is no political goodwill or there is no public goodwill.
You know,
and by public goodwill I mean...
Look at it this way. When the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission says it finds no wrongdoing in the Eurobond matter, when did they investigate it?
And how come they've not finished other cases?
Whom did they
years around?
No. They say they found no evil, no corruption there. We did not hear they went and interviewed the cabinet secretary. Did they interview the cabinet secretary?
No, they didn't. At least they didn't tell the public.
Have they interviewed Agnes?
Have they interrogated the ministries that money was sent to?
Have they?
How it worked?
Exactly. The Ministry of Devolution was given 44 billion shillings. It was got the most of the Eurobond money. Do you know what happened to that money? Is it the money they give to Kibera? Or is it the money that
and Kondele,
or is it that money which is gone to a gentleman called Benigedi, you know, who is a billionaire at 32? You know, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, the director of CID or the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, the DPP. Do you know the past? The DPP says, "Oh, you know, I'm not the one to blame for not."
I'm waiting for the file to be brought to me.
And the investigators, who are they waiting for? We need credibility of these anti-corruption institutions. If they don't work hard, like Mutunga was saying, if the chain is broken somewhere, then the whole of justice will not...
it will be defeated.
It will be defeated. Yeah. I think when I was talking about... Most people normally talk about political goodwill every time that the government, the state has to support. But I'll also throw it back to me and you, the public. Because when Charles Odhiambo, who is Mutegi's friend, is asked to go before EACC, Mutegi organizes a big crowd of people to escort him. I mean, why don't you just let Charles Odhiambo go there and absolve himself from any blame? In any case, it looks as if when you are invited to go and make a statement, or when Mutangula is going to court because of that corruption, he goes with his political...
the sad thing is the allegations that the people who normally escort these people to EACC headquarters are bribed.
They are actually given transport and get paid money to come.
So how do you fight corruption in in such an environment?
We look at the business daily.
You want us to look at the business daily again? Apart from the story on telecom staff who are supposed to get 1.8 billion shillings severance payoff, the story of course about police boss ordering that GK vehicles and parastatal vehicles be inspected.
There is a story about Transsensory, which is briefed in there. There's something happening between Centum and Transsensory.
They seeks to calm bondholders after the CEO exit.
The boss of Transsensory,
I think it's Gashau Kiuna.
He has resigned, and the stability of the company is in question. I think they owe a lot of money to the bondholders, and they are being assured that they will be paid.
Don't worry. Let them
there's been a competition between Centum and Transsensory, which is some people say it's old money versus new money.
Which is this company of the two that gave the staff dividends amounting to millions of shillings?
I can't remember which, but Transsensory is associated with the former friends of Kibaki, and the Centum is associated with the Kirubi, and they are making big deals now.
So it's a case of old versus new. Now the story about Transsensory is that Dr. Kiuna left the investment firm last Thursday, and the day after, Joe Karago, a non-executive director, also left the company. He resigned. Could this be the reason for trying to calm down the bondholders?
If you remember Karago, is it Karago? He is one of those...
Joe Karago,
it's one of these old people, Kibaki's friends. And it appears that company is in trouble. Though they are not saying so.
Of course they would not say. But it's a rich company. I think even if there was turmoil or there's a shake, I'm sure they would be able to hold themselves together.
The Star, also if you look at the Star, we didn't look much of it. Apart from Kingi complaining that the president is in Malindi
For political reasons.
Kilifi campaigning for a Jubilee candidate there. But when you look at the elections, ODM candidate there is fiasco there. There is a problem with ODM.
Mr. Mtegi, in all fairness, I think ODM is a popular party there.
It is popular, but
why else would everybody want to represent them?
Exactly. But they had the problem of nominating the candidate. Yeah, there were demonstrations. Some people saying wanting one of them to be declared
the winner.
Yeah.
Maybe what they need to put in place is institutional order, so that their processes are carried out diligently and in an orderly way.
There is an interesting story on page 7 of the Star that the Kenya National Union of Teachers is going to back Kanu's Sang in Kericho poll. The Kenya Union of Teachers is a trade union. It's not a political party.
Now this is where they start losing it.
Yeah. This
I think individual members of NAT can take political positions, but as a union, being a trade union, it may not be, and especially for a by-election in a senatorial position, not the presidential.
The interesting thing about this Kericho senatorial contest is that Kipchumba Murkomen seems to be supporting Kericho's the Jubilee candidate, the one we interviewed here, Aaron Cheruiyot. But apparently, Keter, the outgoing senator, does not support the man who was nominated. He was supporting another candidate for the nomination.
Or maybe he wants to keep off now that he's a CS.
Yeah, that he's a CS. But I'm told he sponsored a different candidate. Which is, it will be interesting to see whether he will go and campaign for this Jubilee candidate.
So it's going against the wind.
Yeah. So the story about the president running the country from outside Nairobi is here on page 6 of the Star. He has drawn an elaborate diary that will see him shift daily operations from State House Nairobi to regional state lodges for the next 9 months. Wow.
He's been at the coast for almost a month now, yeah?
The Star runs that the president will spend less time traveling outside the country, though he is set to host a number of heads of state and has accepted an invitation to a state visit to Israel next month. Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari is expected to make a state visit to Kenya on February 27. The Egyptian President El-Sisi will also come the same month.
And wow. UK Prime Minister.
And we also want to host a United Nations Conference of Trade and Development. That is where Dr. Kitui is. Yeah.
I think we're also supposed to be hosting a conference for Japanese investment or something.
Yeah.
Isn't this a good thing? That
Tokyo International Conference in September.
Isn't this a good thing that the president decentralizes his governance?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure the economy of Mombasa is not the same again.
When it's in Kilifi, there's development there. I think that's fine. I think we should end there and hand over the...
Thanks so much. We have take a commercial break and then we listen to some nice music.
Some interesting games I can see going to be played here. They look like children's games.
Do you know Kati?
I don't know. They're being mentioned, but the way
Bano?
No.
Breaking, snow paying.
I'm going to learn a few things this morning because when I was a kid, those kind of games were not being played.
Which ones were you playing?
We used to have a wheel and we throw stones at it. Boys would start at the other side and you throw a wheel. A wooden wheel. And
maybe as Kirigo goes through this, she should also tell us. I'm told these days they play Chamamana Chababa on the iPad.
Oh, I don't know. Let's see what they're going to do about this. Okay.